Hello to anyone who's watching the videos I'm making. I don't know if I make sense to everyone, but yeah, I've just been sort of looking through the stuff I'm making and thinking about things that I'm currently thinking about, and just trying to sort of construct my thoughts into something. I'm not sure how I'd explain it, but there's a subject that seems to be quite powerful at the moment. It seems to be upsetting a lot of people and causing problems, and that is flat earth. So I thought I'd take some time to put my view across on the subject. I don't know if it'll be helpful to anyone else, but just as a simple question, what do you know is in my pocket? You see, I could make loads of photos of what is in my pocket. I can make loads of videos of what is in my pocket. I could get other people looking in my pocket, and there could be all this evidence, proof and fact of what is in my pocket. But it doesn't mean that that is the truth and reality and what you know is in my pocket. You see, with evidence, facts and proof, the most you can ever do is create a belief. Actually seeing for yourself, knowing reality, that is something completely different. You know, that truth of knowing the reality, of seeing for yourself. Well then, apply that onto the shape of the earth. When have you ever been so far from the earth that you could look down upon it and see what shape it is? Never. That's what I'm guessing everyone's answer is. Never. So therefore, you can't tell anyone, no one who believes it is any particular shape can tell anyone else what shape they know it is. The most that anyone does is believe. Now, if I believe it's a cube, I believe it's a pyramid, or I believe it's a cylinder, then that's my belief, just the same as you might believe it's flat or you might believe it's a sphere. And I don't see why anyone would be upset by someone believing that it was a different shape to what they believe. You know, it's like a colour like turquoise. Some people say it's blue, some people say it's green. You wouldn't need to fight over it, you wouldn't need to go to war over it. Just some people believe it's more blue, some people believe it's more green. It comes down to your personal viewpoint, what you believe. But it still exists as what it is. And that's one of the things with the earth. If it was a cube yesterday and it's a pyramid tomorrow, nothing actually changes. You know, the air's still breathable, the sun still rises, crops will still grow, we won't freeze to death. You've still got money in your pocket, a job to go to, a home to live in, you've got clothes to wear, you've got food to eat, water to drink. You can still see your friends, you can still run around in the park and kick a ball with the kids, you can still walk, talk, smile and laugh. Nothing changes. It will still function the way that it functions. So why would it upset you so much for someone to say it is this shape or it is that shape? How can that have such a negative effect upon you? How can it impact on your life in any way, shape or form? It's what I don't understand, and it's like there's this need for people to regurgitate the established, standardised version of things, and anyone who breaks from that must be wrong. But it's like, you look back through history and things like science, media, governments and whatever, things that have been promoted that have been false. For instance, heroin was not addictive, cocaine's not addictive, there's no link between smoking and cancer, thalidomide doesn't cause birth defects. You look at things like the Gulf of Tonkin incident that started the Vietnam War, never even happened. And you look at so many ways in which you've been lied to when the facts were available. You know, reality was available, there was a potential for them to get caught, and they still lied. But then all of a sudden, when it comes to something like the shape of the earth, the one thing that you can't actually go up there and see for yourself, all of a sudden they are like the pinnacle of truth. There's no way government would lie to us, no way science would lie to us, no way that the media would construct a lie, no way, not at all. It's totally impossible. The one thing you cannot actually check for yourself is the one thing that they'd never lie about. It's, how misguided are you? And if you've never ever questioned the shape of Earth, how do you know it's a sphere? Because the reality is we all start from a conclusion of the Earth being a sphere, and then we build science and knowledge on a conclusion, which is no different to Santa Claus. You know, you were told that Santa exists. You were told that he is real and he's on the wrapping paper, he's on the cards, there's songs about him, there's films about him, there's TV programs about him. I bet you even met him. So why did you believe in Santa? Because you started from a conclusion. And then something I've covered in the sort of deliberate opposition and other videos is that people have this mentality: if you're not 100% for them, you must be 100% against them. So therefore, if I was to question whether the Earth is actually a sphere, people will instantly assume that I must be a flat earther. If you're not saying it's a sphere, you must be saying it's flat. Why are they the only two shapes that people can think of? Why is it if I question whether it's a sphere, I must be saying it's flat? Why are they the only two shapes that you can possibly ever think of? Why are they the only two potentials in your head? Why are they the only two conclusions that you have? Because they're the only two conclusions you've ever been told. So even for a sphere earther, they're indoctrinated with flat Earth as well. You've got an indoctrination of two shapes. The only two shapes you can think of are two shapes you've ever been told. You can't move beyond those two shapes, because those two shapes are all you know, all you think. That's all that's stuck in your head, because that's all that's been put in your head. Science demands that you start from a question. You see, what you've done every time is start from a conclusion. You have a conclusion of sphere, you have a conclusion of flat. And if I'm not joining you in your conclusion of sphere, then I must be in the conclusion of flat. You see how ridiculous it is? It's almost impossible for me to fathom out. I can't really think it through, how people's minds work. You know, science demands you start from a question. But you've never ever questioned the shape. You will not question the shape because you've seen a picture of the shape. You've seen a film about the shape because a scientist told you the shape. You know, for a long time it was believed that spinach contained more iron than any other vegetable. Why? Because it was a test that was actually corrupted, but the scientist who produced the final results was so well respected that no one ever checked anything. It was just taken as true, but it was actually a corrupted test and it's completely wrong. But everyone goes around saying it, so therefore it must be true. It doesn't matter if the masses are saying it. It doesn't matter how many people say it. It does not make it right. It does not make it true. It doesn't matter how many times you regurgitate it. It does not become true. It's just established as that. It's like the theory of flight. There are multiple theories of flight. There's one standardized version which is used in the process of education and communications, yes. But there are many theories that could all be true. And it is still just theory of flight. Even the established theory is not absolute fact that that is the reason why flight works. When you start looking into science and you see that it is all just theory. Theory based on theory, based on theory, built on theory. Where is the absolute reality in that? Because it all becomes a sort of situation of if. If that is true, then that is true. And if that is true, then that is true. And if that is true, then that is true. But it's only if. And science is filled with a lot of ifs. But so few people really look at the ifs because a lot of theories are presented as a theory, and then the way that it's further explained and the way that it's taught then builds on it being reality. But if you go back to the start of your education, the start of your learning, the start of that theory where it was introduced to you, you'll see that it was only ever a theory. It still hasn't become true. But the way it's being explained to you, the way, once you're a year into learning something, the way it's being told to you is as if it's true. And that's the problem with education and indoctrination. The mind becomes fixed, and it can't move beyond those fixed positions. And one of the surprises is the number of people, how can I refer to them? I call them narrative breakers. They're concerned with breaking the narrative. There's an agenda in the mainstream media and we need to break that narrative. When those people mock flat earthers, I find that very surprising. I find that very much out of place. Because they're all about breaking the narrative. But there's certain narratives they don't want to break. There's certain things that they need to cling on to, and it makes me wonder, why can't you just let go of a sphere for a little while, just to investigate something, just to investigate a theory? Why is the theory that you've had bombarded and forced into you, why is that so much more important than someone else's theory? Why is it a point of ridicule? Why do you have to mock it and laugh at it? Why can't you start from a situation where the earth has no shape and you investigate what shape the earth has? Because there's very few sphere earthers that have actually proved the earth to be a sphere. They've been told it's a sphere and then took all the evidence based on that and built upon that. They haven't actually tested it. They've carried out no real science. And the sphere earthers will call flat earthers stupid or ignorant or this, that, the other, but it's like they don't realise that flat earthers weren't born flat earthers. They haven't been restricted from science lessons. They weren't kept at home during science lessons. They haven't been raised in a cult of flat earth. They've gone through all the same educational processes as you. They've got all of that sphere earth knowledge. They have all that science there. And when they test that against the flat earth evidence and the flat earth knowledge and the flat earth science, they find flat earth to be true. You see, I'm not saying that all sphere earthers are stupid, dumb, thick, whatever word you want to call it, but the people who are of a low intelligence can't think beyond a sphere because that's all they've been told. They wouldn't have the ability to question the sphere because all they know is what they've been told. So to them make out that flat earthers are stupid in some way, somehow mentally deficient, somehow lacking in something, it's a bit ridiculous really, isn't it? Because you've got to be able to understand both to compare both. Whereas sphere earthers can only understand one, and they don't even do very well at understanding that. They start trying to put forward arguments that they don't make any sense. It's just like they're copying and pasting standardised information as if that makes it true because a website said so, because their teacher said so, because there's a documentary that says so. And pure and simple, and it's beyond me to comprehend. And then they just indulge themselves into some sort of an argument, like sphere earthers are so convinced that what they believe is true and real that they'll deliberately seek out anything to do with flat earth and then just blurt out a load of stuff relating to sphere earth. Like, it's almost like an adult beating up a child. You know, they think that they're in such a strong position as a sphere earther, they're in such a strong position versus a flat earther, that the interaction is a guaranteed win for them as a sphere earther. And they're so excited by this chance to win, and they're going to sit there typing, and I'm a winner. Are you? You're a winner, are you? You sit there arguing online. What is so lacking in your real world life that you need to sit there attacking what you believe to be someone who's mentally deficient? What is the win? Where's the compassion? You're so emotional and upset by the idea of someone mentioning flat earth. You're so fragile and weak and broken by the idea and the concept of someone talking about flat earth, and flat earth as a concept hurts you so much, and you've got all these feelings and emotions, then why don't you reach out to the flat earthers and take care of them? You know, they're such vulnerable, weak, fragile people, these flat earthers. They're so vulnerable and so easily led. They're being lied to and they're being coerced into believing something that's wrong. Then surely you should show them some compassion. Surely you should show them some sympathy and empathy. But you don't. You just see a chance to win a virtual conflict in a world of virtual nobodies. And that's all you are, is a virtual nobody. That's all we all are online. There's nothing real about it, is there? What's real about sitting there typing? Nothing. And you won that argument. It's like, what do you want for that? You want a pat on the back? What does that give you in the real world? What do you then take with you? What do you take away from having a conflict? Where is the gain? What is the satisfaction? It's what I can't comprehend. Especially when you're in a conflict with what you believe is someone who's so mentally incapable, someone of a lower IQ. How is that a win? How is that a win? You've destroyed, you've flamed, you've burnt, whatever word is the word that people use online now, but what clout are you gaining? There's a word, clout. You're chasing some clout. What clout are you gaining from defeating someone who's mentally incapable? What clout are you gaining from winning an argument with someone who hasn't even got an argument in your eyes? You think their argument is so weak that they haven't even got an argument, then what have you won? What is it that's making you so excited? What is it that's giving you the fulfillment? What is it that's going to satisfy you from that conflict? I can't work it out. I don't think you can honestly work it out, but I'm sure the conflict will continue. And if you've took the time to listen to this, then thank you. And I'll upload a little more. And if there's any questions, maybe you could post them as comments and I can cover them in future videos.